Alright. I already tried to make this video once and it got way too long. I feel like I was explaining too much and I also didn't have much direction going for it. But I want to make a little guide for Chayula monks that are struggling. So I think the first thing we need to look at is the passive tree, which you're inevitably going to have to respec if you've gone any like melee stuff. Not that melee can't work, but if you want to go this build, which is super good, it's going to cost a lot. Respecking is very unforgiving. I hope that they reduce the cost of respecking. Anyways, without further ado, let's get started. Right here, 10% mana regen. You're going to need mana regen. These skills are costly. Hex Blast specifically is very costly. I'll talk a little bit more about like Act 2, early Act 3 strategies because you won't get Hex Blast. You won't see it. You won't see that level of skill gem until like late Act 3. Which is really tough because Hex Blast is really good. But Contagion and Essence Drain are also good. But like I said, let's go over the skill tree first. Mana regen, need mana regen. This is the first cluster. These three right here, maybe lesser so this. This first cluster you need to go. You're gonna go here, get all three of these, chaos damage. Boom, go here, get all the spell damage. This is a lot. This is quite a bit, just in a little spot. This you'll want once you can run Despair, which is a curse. And I'll show you the skill gems after this. This will increases the area of effect and also hinders. Hinders is important. Your curse is now hinder. And we go up this way. Boom, you're going to hit here. You're going to have 30% more damage for hindered enemies. So these two coincide with each other. Once you're able to reasonably curse. That is a really tough thing to figure out. I was problem solving that for a while. Don't go this way. This is bait. Don't go this way. Go up this way. And then go past it. The reason you don't go this way. This right here. These only give you 7%. Not great. Which means you want these two. This is going to destroy you if you're not ready for it. If you don't have enough regen, this is going to destroy you. So don't go this way. We go this way later. So start over the path. Up this way. And when you're grabbing these, you don't have to grab the exact same nodes as me, just as you need them. Grab as much intelligence as you can, and if you need dex, you need strength to run the armor sets you have, just respec and put it on as you need it. It'll give you a Path of Exile 2 is nice, and it gives you a little warning that you don't have enough of whatever points to run the items that you have or the skills you have. I'm gonna grab this first. Grab this if you have a curse that you're running. You'll want to grab it anyways. But if you don't have a curse, you might want to pass it and not waste the 4 skill points that you could use. These two, both of these, you'll need a curse for. That's the only way these are useful. Head up here, grab this. All of this is good. Withered we'll talk about in a second. You'll want that too. Up here, bunch of mana regen, bunch of extra damage from having max mana. Thinking about grabbing this. I've not tested it yet, so I can't assist you with that in this video, but that's what I'm heading towards right now. That's the overview. This is your skills for your Ascendancy. You must go this, I think. I think this is just the best. I'm not sure how I'm going to solve mana leeching with Energy Shield, but I think that'll also be good, because this build suffers a lot from defenses. As soon as that can be solved. Anyways, that's the skill tree. One more little quick overview. Let's go to skills. I'm just going to run through these very quickly. Manage the sockets, just show you what I have on here. This is for mana regen. Not sure if all this is working. You need to have enough spirit to run this also. It's very tough. The first two things you're going to grab, if you're not in Act 3, you're not in like kind of the later stages of the game. You're going to get Essence Drain, you're going to get Contagion. Contagion, you're going to proc on enemies, and when you kill them, it's going to spread. I'd have increased auras on here, like the increased range. Dark Effigy you'll want to run. So what I do is Withered. Withered you need for a debuff, which helps a lot with your damage, a tremendous amount with your damage. I use this skill gem. Put it on this totem. This you might not have until later, but this will help you a lot. You want to place your totem. You'll want to contagion enemies, specifically bosses. And that'll make it fire at them. That'll make it wither. And just spam Essence Drain. Once you have Hex Blast, you're using that instead of Essence Drain, really. You can still use Essence Drain. It's very good. What I'd put on Contagion is you can run Persistence. You can run Swift Affliction. I wouldn't run Hinder just yet. If you don't have Hex Blast, you'll want to run Magnifying Effect here instead. Essence Drain, I'd leave it as is, as I have it here. Intense Agony and Arcane Tempo. Arcane Tempo only if you have enough mana for it. Hex Blast. So once you do, it's another thing. So this is assuming that you're in Act 2. Early Act 3, you don't have Hex Blast. You're going to want to run something to wither enemies. You don't have Dark Effigy. Withering is mandatory to help debuff with this build. The skill gem that you're going to want to run in your aura slot, for the one your spirit consuming gems, is going to be Withering Presence. This will help you get that debuff stacked. You might want to put it on another skill. You could throw it on Contagion, but it reduces your damage. The one skill gem I showed you reduces your damage a little bit. Where is it? Not there anymore. On Dark Effigy. So yeah, it just does less damage. 50% less damage. It's kind of brutal. You don't want to throw that in Essence Drain. That's going to be a lot of your damage is Essence Drain early on. Also, Wands. Ideally, you have Chaos Spell skills. That's going to be tough to find. Look at every vendor all the time. You're going to want Spirit somewhere. You could get it on your Amulet and some of your armor pieces. When you're doing Hex Blast, this is vital that you do this. This aura. Because you can't... Hex Blast, what it does is it blows up curses on enemies. So you need to have enemies cursed all the time. Blasphemy is an aura. It's a meta gem. You link curses to it. You're going to link Despair to it. I have Magnified Effect on it. I'm hoping that's been increasing the range. It seems like it has. This is going to allow you to use this effectively. Like, you could just use Despair. Early on, you'll just want to have Despair on your skill bar. And just proc it on whatever enemies are giving you a tough time to try and reduce their chaos resistance. This will allow it to be in an area, though. I think as far as explaining goes, that's about as far as I could probably take you. I can show you some more of these. You want to prioritize your resistances. You need 60 Spirit to run one of these socketed curses on Blasphemy. Yeah, I guess I can show you some gameplay now. I'll show how Essence Drain and Contagion works. This video is going to be very long. I'm sorry. Have to forgive me for that one. I will show you just how those work. I'm not going to use Hex Blast. I will use Dark Effigy though. So that was Hex Blast. I accidentally used it. Proc Contagion. Proc your totem. Essence Drain. It's going to spread to the next enemy. This is not great for mobbing. Not initially. Hex Blast is incredible for mobbing. It's not too bad. If you don't have Blasphemy yet, you'll want to put Despair on your skill, like on your skill bar somewhere, and proc it around. I want to try to find something a little more meaty here. So I'll go through this again. I'm going to drop my totem, Contagion, one of the enemies. Ideally, you target that enemy and then it spreads. Your totem will be shooting them, only the ones that are affected by damage over time, chaos debuff. So I guess I can show you the Hex Blast part of this, because this is where it really starts to just obliterate stuff. And really, it doesn't even need much. I mean, like, I'm doing a lot more because of bosses. all I'm doing, all you need to do with this build, I mean, really, you only need to press one button for, like, some of these mobs. But ideally, if you're doing, like, optimal DPS, you're placing a totem, you're contagioning, and you're popping them with Hex Blast. You gotta be close enough for them to have curses, by the way, so make sure you're picking up all these flames. It's really not that bad, especially when you have movement speed. It kind of just cooks. Oh, here's a good example. Yeah, some of those blue enemies, I'm pretty sure. It just owns. Very good build. Highly recommend. Not too ridiculously hard to build. I think you could reasonably do it. You really need this. I think this is going to be the hardest part of getting this build going. That and getting to Act 3. But I think you need to switch into it if you're running Chayula Monk. I think it's mandatory. I hope that about covers everything. Again, this is my second try at making this tutorial video. I feel like I was talking too slow or going over too much stuff. I could make another going over like some beginner guides. I feel like there's enough out there right now that give you good information for like crafting your weapons and all that kinds of stuff. Yeah, that's about it. I guess I'll probably link like the boss fight I had in Cruel mode, the end of Act 1 boss. That way it avoids like any spoilers, but it is in Cruel mode, so it's a lot harder. It'll kind of show how this build cooks. It'll show the Hex Blast portion. Again, if you're using this build to get to this point, you're going to want to use Essence Drain and Contagion and just level those up. Keep ramping them up. Use Withering Presence instead of Blasphemy once you can use Blasphemy. Make sure you have enough Spirit. You might have to find different ways to get Spirit. I know one of the ways when I couldn't use my Chaos skill just to start it was I put on a Scepter to increase my Spirit. And that helped me out for a little bit. It didn't do as much damage, Hex Blast did it, but it was still good. Like, it was still good. It still worked. Ideally, you have enough Spirit without having to use a Scepter, because the stats on them are just horrible for anything but minion builds. Yeah, that's about it. Okay. I felt like the area that I was in was not a great showcase for this build. You'll see that they're cursed from Blasphemy here. And if you don't have Blasphemy, Despair by itself, you can just press and place it down. It'll be in an area. It's kind of annoying to use that way. That's why I like it better. Also, you can see I got a lot of movement speed. You want movement speed on your boots. Mandatory. Super good. Just to get away from all these ads. But I'll show you again just without Hex Blast. So you'll want to curse them. You'll want to Contagion one of them. Placed on your effigy, which is your totem. Contagion, and then Essence Drain. It starts to spread, you see there? And it just annihilates, like, for the most part. It can be hard to get that to spread early on when you don't have, like, enough damage. But that's the primary characteristics of the build, is Withering, Cursing, Contagion, Essence Drain, at least initially. So let's say you got Hex Blast and you're ready to run Hex Blast, which you'll want to run immediately. It's the same process, but just no Essence Drain. Like, you can use Essence Drain, it's still an incredible skill. You're gonna place down your totem, Contagion, and then you really need to do that. You just pop everything with Hex Blast. You have to be close enough for them to like, I almost annihilated me. To be cursed. You'll see a few things if this guy stays alive. You see on the bar there, you'll see the -20, that's your curse. The plus, or just the positive number next to that, to the right of it, that's your Withering effect. It stacks up pretty high when you have from our skill tree. There's ways that up in the upper right area. I already showed this off. I'll show it again. This increases the amount that you can wither, which is very useful. Like, it's just more debuff. I'll link some boss gameplay, specifically I already said I was gonna do the Act 1 end boss in Cruel mode, which is a very tough boss. It's still tough. Like, the game is just still hard, but this build is so good. Like, I'm having such a fun time with this build. I really hope most people are able to get this going. It can be, PoE is a very complicated game, just in nature. I hope this helps a little bit. Like, look at this. This is incredible. This is vastly different from probably what you're playing right now. You're probably getting owned by white mobs right now. And the reason I know that is because I was, for basically the entirety of my playthrough until late Act 3. And then I just started crushing stuff with this build. I hope more people catch on to this, because Chayula Monk is insane. Picking up these breaches, which I haven't really talked about, because I'm, like, you can see the skills are barely using my health, because I'm specced into that part of the tree that uses my health. Picking up those red nodes, and just utilizing your flask correctly, you don't really run out of health. I have some life regen, but it's not that much. It's so good. It's so easy. It's so much fun. Being able to kill these mobs, a lot of fun. You know, not being able to and getting obliterated by them, not so fun. You're probably not having a great time on Chayula Monk if you're not killing these mobs like I am showcasing in this video. So I think it's very good to just switch to it. I'll link the boss gameplay here at the end. I might upload that separately and also put it on this video, just because this is super fucking long video. I probably missed that. I definitely missed some things. And also, if you are like a creator, or if you have like any insights into how to make this build better, especially if you've played PoE and you know the inner workings, because I have like 100 hours of PoE, and I theory crafted this build with a little bit of help from some other content creators I watched prior to this that decided not to go Chayula Monk because they were very scared. Reasonably so. It's just not an easy class to build up, but man, is it good. I say that, but like by the end of Act 3, I had this going, and it felt incredible. Getting there in PoE 2 is a whole nother story, though. It's a very hard game.
No noose this time. I'll remove your head myself. We'll see about that. Kneel. Easy prey. Run, little rabbit. For the first one. First one's higher. You will falter. You'll pay with your life. Easy prey. You dare mock me. Solstice of pain. Desolation. Your pulse quickens. The eternal impure. With bloodlust empowered. Our Ezemir endured. But soon all were devoured. In unending war. Death waited at the door. Then hour by hour, men fell as summer sour. Desolation. I will take out your heart and save each bite. Requiem on high. tales were told. None new, none old. And their endless hunger grew ever stronger. Requiem on high. I will take out your heart and savor each bite. Desolation. Desolation. I will take out your heart and savor each bite. As night falls, winter's chill soaked the unworthy through an endless night. They wither and tarry, forsaken frosts, as cold as death of Bailey's misery. The pack won't forget. I will take out your heart and savor each bite. Freezing.
Let's go. Oh man.
Allow me to clear your mind, if only for a moment. The madness, it consumed my being. Oriana,